Hello guys, Dominic here again. Today I'm going to be making a video that is a qualitative breakdown of the explanation that I provided in my Knowing God Through Physics video. So there I used physics and mathematical topology to explain the relationship between spirit and matter as well as God's role in it. Today, I'm going to do the same thing, but from a qualitative perspective. And instead of using the Topological Unified Field Theory, I'm going to use the topological metaphor and use specific words as well as break down their dictionary definitions and etymologies to show and communicate exactly what the topological metaphor means, as well as what the topological unified field theory is communicating. So first, the topological metaphor posits that existence exists in three states as depicted here. You have God, or the primordial, and this primordial is an ever-present substrate that's everywhere. And from this substrate, things come about, as this is depicted here as the cosmos. And the cosmos is basically a boundary within this substrate where information conforms to a specific standard set by the geometrics or mathematical constants that have arranged the information there to be that particular way, coming from the primordial or the ever-present eternal substrate. And then within the cosmos, you get space or particles. And from these particles, you basically have objects that are subjected to the geometric constraints of the cosmos. So you have the eternal medium. The eternal medium reduces itself or creates boundaries within itself that we know as universes. And within these universes, objects take shape. So to understand the eternal medium, we're first going to look at the word plenum. And the word plenum means a space or all space, every part which is full of matter. And also the third definition, I think, is probably the best for this one, the quality or state of being full. And also a plenum is in HVAC, it's a thing for HVAC, and what it does is it balances the hot air and the cold air, and depending on your AC setting, distributes the hot air or the cold air. So the plenum is just the primordial, and it's full of potential. Within the primordial is everything that can possibly happen. This is what it means to be full, because it contains all things. And so what the plenum does is it reduces that potential into geometric layers that we call, or that the topological metaphor referred to as the cosmos or the geometrics. And if we look at the etymology of plenum, it means a filled space or the fullness of matter in space. And space is just full of potential. The eternal medium is full of potential, ready to manifest and reduce itself. And it comes from pele, which means to fill. It's filled itself with potential. And if we look to Parmenides, he offers a pretty good explanation for what that means. And I do show this quote a lot, but there's a lot of truth in it. We can speak and think only of what exists, and what exists is uncreated and imperishable, for it is whole and unchanging and complete. It is not, and nor shall be different, since it is now all at once and continuous. What does it mean to be all at once and continuous, and what does it mean to be unchanging and complete? It means to be full. It means to be in a state where nothing can be added to it and nothing can be taken away from it. For the moment that you were to take away something from the plenum or the primordial, it would no longer be one and whole and complete. It would be missing something. So it is impossible to destroy the possibilities or the limitless potential within the eternal substrate. So it's eternal. It's constantly never runs out of things to experience. This is what it means to have limitless potential. And another word we can think of for it is data, like raw data, which means a fact given or granted. The eternal medium is full of facts that it's just giving itself over to be transformed into something. And what is it giving itself over to be transformed into? The plenum is going to be transformed into information. And information is an act of informing or communicating news. So the plenum is informing itself how to form. Or in other words, the eternal medium is forming into the cosmos or the geometrics. And it means advice or instruction, and from Latin, it means outline, concept, or idea. And also to train, educate, shape, or give form to. So really, it is giving form to the data or the plenum of information or potential within the primordial. And it's come into a place where that potential has been limited. And so things can take form. This is information. It is the geometric layer of the topological metaphor. And if we look at the definition for information, knowledge gained from investigation, study, or instruction. So the plenum or the primordial is investigating itself and expressing itself through boundaries of limited information. Something other than the pure potential of the primordial. Knowledge of a particular event or a situation. So instead of experiencing everything at once, now it's experiencing particular things at one time. And this one right here, the attribute inherent in and communicated by one or two or more alternative sequences, or arranging of something such as nucleotides in DNA or binary digits in computer program that produce specific effects. Two or more alternative sequences or arranging of somethings. You have the unlimited potential of the eternal medium that is sequencing itself into a limited form of itself. It's essentially boundaries of opposites. The unlimited potential is its own thing, and it's becoming the opposite version of that through limitations and becoming a boundary of formed or fixed information. And these two things are constantly communicating between themselves, basically transferring the spirit into matter, because that's what the eternal medium is. It's the realm of the spirits, And the geometrics are what allows the spirit to experience matter. And information comes from the word inform. And inform means to train or instruct in some specific subject. So you're going from everything happening at once to something specific, a specific focused point to subject yourself to. And it also means to instruct or teach, because ultimately this subjected experience is a learning experience, so that our essence, or the part of us that exists within the eternal medium, can develop characteristics and experience things that it would have never had the chance to had it not come to this place. But right here is the most important one. From in or into plus formere, which means to form or shape or the forms. So literally, we pass through the geometric layer from the eternal medium and become a form. The geometric layers conform the essence to a particular shape or space that the essence occupies for a specific amount of time. And what is the form? It means semblance, likeness, or image. So we, as human beings, are in the likeness of the unlimited potential of the eternal medium. And within our lives, there's a limitless amount of things that we could do at any moment. So we are made in the image and likeness of our essence. We are just expressing that likeness through a limited, finite form, which it also means physical form or appearance or pleasing looks. And from Latin, it means form, contour, figure, shape, appearance, looks, or a fine form, beauty, or an outline, or a kind condition. So the form is just the conditions that we are subjected to experience this particular objective world made up of geometric layers, which are ordered from the eternal medium. And it also is thought to come from the Greek word morph, which means form, beauty, or outward appearance, and also has a connection with the word Morpheus. So form, the dictionary definition, is the shape and structure of something as distinguished from its material. So what's our material? It's the limitless potential of the eternal medium. How do we distinguish ourselves from it? By taking a form for a period of time. And it also means a body, especially in its external appearance or as distinguished from the face. It's all about developing individuality and allowing that individuality to express itself outside of the realm of infinite potential and unlimited possibilities. It's about coming into or coming out of the primordial for a period of time and live within the realms of a geometric layer and conform to the forms that it has established for us through things like the laws of thermodynamics, the strong and weak nuclear forces. These sorts of physical constants are what makes the forms or the particles. And this is what the essence inhabits. And what is Morpheus? Name of the god of dreams in Ovid, son of sleep, literally the maker of shapes. So this is like a dream world we're being projected to. And in this dream world, we take a particular shape and live our lives according to particular rules which are beyond our control. And it's all about figuring out how to live in alignment with the rules that we find ourselves subjected to from the geometric layers or the cosmos. A fine figure or a beautiful form, a beauty, fashion, or an outward appearance. So notice how all of these etymologies describe the form as something beautiful, something to love while you're here, because while we're here, we're being subjected to an experience that we are learning from that we will never have again. So this is the whole point of the essence turning into the form. We have an experience that the essence cannot have while existing within the primordial realm or within the realm of God or the heavens. And also, some of these definitions insinuated that there's like a reading force. There's something that happens between the primordial, the geometric, and even the particle. And this is intelligence. Intelligence is the highest faculty of the mind, capacity for comprehending general truths. And what is the highest faculty of the mind? That would basically be a mind that's capable of experiencing everything at once. And it also means faculty of understanding or comprehension. And coming from Latin, meaning understanding, knowledge, power of discerning, art, skill, or taste. So there, I think power of discerning is probably the best one, because intelligence is the discerning between the potential it finds itself in and what path to choose for itself. And if we look to the bottom etymology here, this is from assimilated form of inter, which means between, and legere, meaning choosing to pick out or read. Also with the pi root leg, which means to collect or gather. So this word intelligence literally means between choosing. And what is it between choosing? The opposites that it finds itself within of the unlimited potential that it could choose from and the singular choice that it's going to pick for itself. And intelligence is all about making the right choice. But how do we get from the primordial to the geometric to the particle? We get to it from the highest mind of all, the thing that is capable of experiencing all things at once, which is what most people call God. God is the intelligent will, which bridges together opposites. It is the force between choosing that allows us to even make our choices in the first place. And if we look to the word intelligence, when we break it down etymologically, intel, meaning like intellect or our analytical brain that's capable of logic and dissecting, and gens, or like our right part of our brain, which is capable of creativity and spatial awareness and pattern recognition. Intelligence is what happens when we bridge these two aspects of our minds together so that we can make the best possible choices. And this is what God does. There is an intelligent force that reads the data of the plenum and basically translates it into the limited versions of itself, turning it into information. The intelligence behind the eternal medium is what translates the information between the eternal medium and the geometric layer. And then from here, we follow God. And the word intelligence, in its dictionary definition, means the ability to learn or understand things or to deal with new or difficult situations. And that's all we're doing here. That's what the whole experience is about. Within the realm of unlimited potential, you essentially have sets of infinities that cancel each other out. So the easiest way to visualize this is to look at a number line. On one side of the number line, you have a set of positive numbers. We'll say it's an infinite amount of numbers. And on the other side of the number line, you have another set of infinite numbers, but this time they're going to be negative numbers. Whatever amount of positive numbers or negative numbers you say there are, they must mirror each other. You cannot have negative 1,000,000 and only positive 999,999 exist and say that there is no positive 1,000,000. Whatever number you say for one side must exist for the other. And what happens when you take these sets of infinites and you combine them, you get zero. Zero is the neutral force, and this is what the realm of the eternal medium or the primordial realm looks like. It's, as Parmenides says, it's a place of stillness, but it's not a stillness of complete emptiness. It appears empty, but it is really whole and full of everything, in perfect equilibrium with itself. And what the intelligent will does of God is it translates this everything happening at once into a realm of reduced potential, where now there's only a limited amount of things happening at once, so that experiences can be had other than just zero, other than just things that cancel each other out. So intelligence is the force between the primordial and the geometric. It is literally between choices, and the thing that even allows choices to begin with, because God is the highest intelligence of all, the thing experiencing all things at once. And this leads us to the next thing, which is knowledge, which means acknowledgement of superior or honor or worship, and also coming from know, which is the second element in obscure, perhaps Scandinavian, and cognate with lock action. So knowledge is just essentially the capacity for knowing and understanding, familiarity, as it says here. And what that really means is we are not the highest perception that there is. We are individual particles that coexist alongside this intelligence, and we experience these limited realms of possibility to understand them and familiarize ourselves with them, because we all come from the same eternal substrate, which is the substrate of unlimited potential. And we exist in a realm that has manifested itself in a particular way to know it. Not as the way God does, but through experiencing it in a way so that we aren't just experiencing everything at once. We have to experience our choices that we make for ourselves. And these choices are basically similar to the eternal medium in the sense that at any moment, any of us could make any number of choices and do any number of things. And throughout our life, these choices carry us and essentially dictates the quality of life that we'll have for ourselves. It's based on what we choose for ourselves out of the unlimited potential. And through our choices and experiences, we come to know the world through using our own intelligence to make these choices. We're just like God, just on a smaller scale. We don't know everything, but we can know a lot. And what we know is very real to us and has the capability to impact others and make it real for them as well. The dictionary definition of knowledge: information, understanding, or skill you get from experience or education. Acquaintance of understanding with a science, art, or technique. Or the fact of condition of being aware of something. So all of these basically relate to being aware of where we are and coming to understand the world we live in, because that is the spiritual education. Our essence exists within the eternal medium. But because of the intelligence of God, which has translated this plenum of data, we come into the realm of information, of geometric information, and take on a specific form for a specific amount of time so that we can learn ourselves better as a spiritual being and as a physical being. It's all about knowing ourselves. And what am I really describing? Genesis. It always comes back to what the ancients say of God, because they were generally right about what God was. And as it says here, in the beginning, God created heavens and the earth. Or in other words, you have the primordial and you have the geometric. And God is the force between these things that allows these things to experience each other. And then the earth was formless and empty, and darkness was over the surface of the deep. And the Spirit of God was hovering above the waters. And God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. God is the intelligence which floated above the information of the plenum. And when God spoke, we followed into this realm. You see, when the plenum makes a new realm, the ocean that's being described here is the earth. However, the ocean is also a great symbol for the primordial. And the reason that it's both is because within the primordial, as I said, you have unlimited potential of everything happening at once. However, when you make for yourself a realm of geometrics governed by certain rules and laws that don't change, of reduced potential, you still have that capability of unlimited potential, because all it is a reduced set of infinite value. And if you reduce infinity, you're still going to have infinity. So in order to understand what type of infinite value is within this world, God hovered above it. God learned it. God was the intelligent force between the primordial and the geometric that translated the language necessary to even have experience between the heavens and the earth in the first place. And we are the light that followed God. We are the ones who come to know the formless, empty, dark waters. And God is the force that allows us to do this. We go into the waters, we illuminate the waters, and we learn them for ourselves and for others. It's really a learning experience, not just for us, but for all things involved, even God. Because God does not know what choices we're going to make for ourselves, but God knows every single possible choice that we can make. So, the heavens are the plenum of information, or the primordial. The earth is the geometrics. And God is the force between these things that allows the light to experience these things. And we are the lights. All the particles are the lights. And it says the earth was pretty much their whole concept of everything. But the heavens and the earth are just essentially, you have the unlimited data, or the unlimited information of the plenum, or potential, I should say, reducing itself into forms here to experience reduced potential and give to itself meaning. This means that we make our own meaning in life because God has mapped every single possibility for us to experience, for us to make our own meaning, for us to know ourselves and learn ourselves and determine who we really are. And then God said, let us make man in our image, in our likeness, so that they may rule over the fish and the animals. And God made mankind in his image. In the image of God, he created them, male and female, he created them. This is the man as he exists within heaven, made in the image of God, existing amongst the unlimited potential of life that exists within God. And God has decided that we should bear the highest responsibility for our actions. It's not necessarily to establish dominion over these things, but to live in harmony with the world around us, to better learn ourselves, because that is the true reflection of the image of God. And also, if we look to the male and female he created, this is a common mythological trope, such as in Egypt, the creation of the Aeneid, which goes Nun, Atum, and then he creates his father or his two children who are male and female, and then they give birth to two other children who are male and female. And then they give birth to four other children who are two males and two females. All it symbolizes is the balance of duality or polarity, and recognizing that within the image of man, or I should say, male and female exist within the image of man, but it's still one image. You have the realm of infinite potential, and you have the realm of limited potential, but they're still one thing and connected. And so what this duality represents is that the poles, or the opposites of things, they're really an illusion. There are no real opposites. They're all part of the same pole. The top of the pole and the bottom of the pole might appear different, but they're still part of the same pole. So, male and female, it's just a dualistic nature, or a dualistic characteristic to represent that you have unlimited potential, you have limited potential, they come together in one image. And that image is formed by God, the intelligent force, translating the plenum of information into geometric layers. And this leads me to Genesis 7. And then God formed a man from the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life. And man became a living thing. So you have God already made man. So now God is taking the essence of man and breathing it into this form. The essence comes into the forms through God. We come from the unlimited potential into the existence as a particle, which has been filtered through this geometric layer, because God has established the coordinates that we know to follow. So we don't get lost in transition, or maybe not even begin the transition, right? It's a two-way thing. God is there to establish the bridge, and we are there to travel across the bridge and experience the realm of limited potential. And God is watching us every step of the way. And this brings me back to the topological metaphor. You have the primordial, which is the plenum of information, which is translated by the intelligent will into the geometric layer, so that spiritual beings like us can experience it within a particular space or form. And as this relates to my physics video, as I was talking about, you have total space, or S9. Total space limits itself into a space called projected space, or CP4. And this limitation follows the vector coordinates of the Hopf vibration. The Hopf vibration is the topological mapping force between the space of total space and projected space. And what we see here is, as that relates, is you have the primordial, you have the geometrics, and you have the intelligence between it that bridges the gap for us, when we would be the S1 fibers within the Topological Unified Field Theory, which is the physics framework that is meant to complement this video. We're all describing, or many people are describing, the same thing from different vantage points. And when we come together to understand these things, it paints a broader picture of what there is to understand and know. It increases our perception about our place in the world, and understanding that we create our own value within the world, because we are the ones ultimately making our own choices from the limitless sea of possibilities that exist around us. And that's what it's all about. It's all about bridging the gap between opposites. The opposites of the unlimited, the opposites of the limited. God is there every step of the way. If anyone asks what God is the force that bridges together opposites through the highest intelligent decision-making throughout all of existence. And we, individuals within existence, follow this intelligence and define for ourselves our own meaning and value within the realms that this intelligence has translated for us to experience. And that's knowing God through a more qualitative framework based in the topological metaphor and based in the words we use, broken down through dictionary, etymological, and even phonetic definitions and breakdowns. So I thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys again.